Good morning, students. I hope all of you are well and safe. Let's begin today's lesson. So we are still doing chapter 30, that is European Middle Ages. And today, inshallah, we will cover lesson 2, that is feudalism in Europe. And you will find this lesson on page 358 in your world history book. So before this lesson, we covered the lesson 1, that was about the Charlemagne unites Germanic kingdom, and we read about all the Europe, how the Roman Empire fell apart. So now today there is feudalism is emerged in Europe. So next thing happened was the feudalism emerged in Europe. So what is feudalism? It's a political and economic system based on land holding and protective alliances. So first we will learn. We will just see the background. Like after the treaty of this treaty we learn in the chapter Charlemagne unites Germanic kingdom. So we already have learned about the treaty of Verden. So after the treaty of Verden, Charlemagne's 3 feuding grandsons, they brought the kingdom up even further. This was the one thing. The second, that the path of this territory also became a battleground as new waves of invaders attacked Europe. And the third important thing was the political turmoil and constant warfare led to the rise of feudalism, that is a military and political system based on land ownership and personal loyalty. So again, we have a definition that a military and political system based on land ownership and personal loyalty is feudalism. So we were talking about the Western Europe. And now the Western Europe is going to be attacked by the north part, from the north part of the Europe. Okay, so here you will see the Vikings invade from the north. Who were the Vikings? They were the traders or the farmers from the north. And from there, here we will read that warlike Vikings raid Europe from Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So they were very warlike. Like Vikings were very aggressive kind of persons, and they attacked Europe from which part? From Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. And a Viking long ships, they used to have long ships, and they sailed in shallow water, allowing raids inland. And eventually you will read at the end that many Vikings adopted Christianity and they became farmers. So here a little knowledge about the Vikings. They are known for their weaponry, and Viking ships known as a prow. So you should know what is prow, that the Viking ships were known as a prow, and these ships held 300 warriors who took turns rowing the ship's 72 oars. Then few more facts about the Vikings. The Vikings were traders, farmers, and outstanding explorers. And Leif Erikson likely reached North America 500 years before Columbus. And as Vikings accepted Christianity, they stopped raiding monasteries because they became Christians, so they protected those places. And a warning trend in Europe's climate made farming easier in Scandinavia. And as agriculture increased, the sea farming life of a Viking became less necessary. So here we are in this slides, we are learning the main points about the lesson, but after this you have to read this lesson in great detail, because after learning about the terms and the main points, when you will read the lesson, everything will become more clear and easy for you. So now, after not only the Vikings, they attacked the Western Europe, there are few more invaders, and here you will see Magyars and Muslims. They also attacked, but as we read, the Vikings attacked from the north, but Magyars and Muslims, they attacked from the east and the south. So from north, east, and south, from everywhere Western Europe was invaded, they were attacked. Okay, so now you should know what about a little bit about the Magyars. Who were the Magyars? You can say they were the people of Hungary. Hungary is a country of Europe. So Magyars, they were Hungarian nomads, and they invaded Western Europe in late 800s. So here you find the date. In late 800s, they invaded Western Europe. Muslims strike north from Africa and attacking through Italy and Spain. And Viking, now at the end you will see Viking, Magyar, and Muslims. Their invasions in Western Europe, it caused widespread disorder and suffering. Next, after these invasions, a new alliances forms a new society. So what happened in 911? Rollo the Viking and King Charles the Simple of France. Here you will see two alliances, that Rollo the Viking and the King Charles the Simple of France. They made a peace. They made peace, so they had a treaty of peace, and this treaty, this peace, this marked the beginning of the end of the Viking invasion in Western Europe. So this, because of this peace, this is how the invasions came into end in Western Europe. Now, after the invasions came into end, feudal society is born. So now feudalism is based on mutual obligations. Number one, in exchange for military protection, a lord or a landowner, they granted lands, which was called a fief. So here you have come to know about the fief, that what is fief? It's a lord and landowner granted land. Granting a land is known as fief. And then the person receiving the fief was called a vassal. What is vassal? Vassal is the person who is receiving the fief. Fief means the land, was called a vassal. Now here you need to understand the feudal pyramid. At the peak, you see here, at the peak of the pyramid is the king, and the next steps are the vassals and church officials, and then they were followed by knights. Here they were followed by the knights, mounted warriors, who pledged to defend their lord's land in exchange for fiefs. Who were they? Who were the knights? They were the mounted warriors, and they claimed, or they commit to defend their lord's land in exchange for fiefs. And then at the end you will find the peasants who work the fields, where at the bottom of the look here at the bottom of the pyramid you see the peasants who work the fields. Now what happened, that medieval feudal system, now a new social order. Social classes are well defined. Medieval feudal system classified people into three social groups. So now we are going to learn about the three social groups of medieval feudal system. Number one, those who fight. They were called the nobles and the knights. Those who pray, they were the monks, nuns, leaders of the church. And then at the end we have those who work, were here peasants. Now the social classes is usually inherited. So majority of the people are peasants. The second thing, the most peasants are serfs, and serfs are not the slaves. What is the meaning of serfs? Serfs are the people lawfully bound to a place of birth. Serfs were the people lawfully bound to place of birth. They were not slaves, but what they produced belongs to their lord. They were not slaves even then. Whatever they produced, that belonged to their lord. Now the economic side of feudalism. Now we will learn about the economic side of the feudalism, and here we are going to learn about the manors. The manors was the lord's estate. So the estate of the lords were called manors. The lord provided the serfs with housing and fields. Here you will see the understanding, mutual understanding, that the lord is the one who is going to provide the serfs with housing and fields. In return, the serf worked the fields. So the serf worked the field, and in order of providing work, they will get housing and fields. Men and women alike work in the fields. Next, manors' life was very harsh. Why? Peasants pay a high tax for life on a manor, and they pay tax on all grain ground in the lord's mill. Peasants also paid a marriage tax, and then peasant families had to pay a tax to the church known as the tithe. Here you see tithe. So what is tithe? Yes. So what is tithe? It was a tax that was paid to the church by the peasant's family, and a tithe represented 1/10 of their income. Now at the end of this lesson, we have an activity for today. Before trying to attempt this activity, my request to all of you is to read this lesson thoroughly. Okay, so in your book, I'm again telling you page 358, 359, 360, 361, 362 and 363. So in other words, you can say from page 358 to 363. You have to read this lesson completely, and after reading this lesson, because we have covered all the main points, everything will become very easy and simple for you. So after reading the lesson, what you have to do for each term and name, write a sentence explaining its significance. This is your activity for today. Like we have a few terms you have to learn today is the Lord, thief, vassal, and then we have knight, serf, manor, and tithe. So we have done it already, but after reading the lesson you can do it more, like you can learn, and you will be able to do it more clearly. So take good care of yourself and start learning things and memorizing all the lessons. So meantime, I prepared the next lesson, so see you again.